Dan from Pop Smoke Media here with Louis Concord. He's one of the Americans who has come to the area to help ferry humanitarian supplies into Ukraine. How you doing today?
Good, Dan. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, what is something that you feel is important for people to know about what's going on out here?
So right now there's a lot of people trying to come here. It's a worldwide topic. A lot of people want to help, but the problem is they want to help to the point where they don't really have a plan when they get here. I've come across dozens at this point of Americans and British alike who they want to come out, they want to help, but they don't have a solid plan. So they fly into Krakow or somewhere else, and they don't really have contacts or connections on the ground. And sometimes they end up utilizing third-party connections that kind of leave them in a state of limbo. So if I were to stress anything to anybody, I know a lot of you guys and gals are probably veterans or some sort of humanitarian group, or you just want to help in general because you just care about what's going on. That's good, and that's very honorable, but please, if I were to suggest anything, is come up with a very solid plan and have confirmed contacts on the ground that you're going to link up with before you make that journey out here.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what has the experience been like crossing the border into Ukraine? Have you had any sort of issues that you've run into? Is there anything that you wish you knew before you started?
So we've been utilizing some Polish emergency volunteers. They are technically working for the country itself of Poland. So crossing the border for us hasn't been that difficult because they have those official connections. So we've been able to bypass a lot of the people coming in and out who are just kind of ordinary citizens. So if you're coming and you don't have some sort of official paperwork or official escort, if you will, especially a translator, just know that you will likely face problems when getting to that border. Any sort of documentation you can have, any sort of invitation from the Ukrainian government, any sort of backing information or documentation from the Poles will help a lot. So the big thing is, it's not just, you can't just cross Ukraine a lot of times. You need to have a translator, you need to have an escort or somebody to kind of verify what you're doing there. Not saying that you can't get lucky and get across. There definitely are people coming and going, but this is wartime, and I think people need to realize this is wartime, and they may not let you in just because you say you're going there to do something good.
So what supplies do you see are most in demand right now?
So the majority of supplies that I've seen in demand right now across the board, whether it's the Ukrainian military, Ukrainian territorial defense, Ukrainian hospitals, everyone is essentially asking for the same things, which is items you would find in a standard issue IFAC, tourniquets, chest seals, basic gauze. These are things that are in most demand right now, and unfortunately they're the things that are least available, especially out here. So we have a few people back home that have wanted to send supplies out, especially tourniquets, and the problem is getting a solidified address here and getting that in. So if there's any way that you guys know of getting that stuff in when it comes to your personal trip, utilize that, because they need tourniquets, they need chest seals, they need all these combat related, IFAC related items.
So how has the reception been from the Ukrainian people and forces that you've encountered?
So the Ukrainian people and the individuals and officials and forces we've encountered have been nothing but nice, kind, understanding. A lot of them really want to help. There is a little confusion on the ground when it comes to certain individuals, maybe with the Ukrainian territorial defense or the Ukrainian military, just because of kind of power issues, and there's a coordination is different between those parties. So sometimes you may run into an issue with one of them. There have been issues with that. Granted, if it were reversed and it was our country, we would have those same issues as well. We would be very skeptical of people bringing stuff in and what are you doing in my country while there's a war. So those are issues that can be easily navigated. But outside of those issues, the reception has been great. They care so much. They're just grateful that people are coming thousands, hundreds of miles away to help. But that being said, I really want to emphasize something, which is don't come out here. The Ukrainians are not looking for cowboys. They're not looking for war tourists, people that are chasing clout. They're looking for people. They're primarily looking for equipment. And secondary, they're looking for people that genuinely care and are willing to make those sacrifices if need be. So if you're maybe emotional about this, or you're just looking for the wrong things, please don't come out. Don't allow yourself to be a burden. Know essentially your place in the food chain when it comes to what you're going to be doing and what you're capable of, and have a mission. They'll come out here and all of a sudden become a burden on these people while they're trying to win a war.